name is Caro, and in this podcast I talk about my crafty things I like to do. And lately that is mainly cross stitch. It used to be a lot of knitting. I still knit, but the main big rabbit hole is for sure Flosstube. Yeah, cross stitch these days. That's basically what I have to show you today. And I've worked on a lot of projects. So far I've been not monogamous, but I don't know, working on 1 to up to 3 projects, I guess. I have quite a few more. Actually, I don't even know how many, like 6 or 7. I believe there's a couple new starts in there. I also have some haul to show you. Yeah, it's close by. It's one physical haul. The rest is digital, which I want to show you. And since we do have a lot to go through, I figure let's just get started. You can find me on Instagram. I'm caro.kirsch. Not very active over there, but I do post every now and then. So give me a follow if you so will. No, that doesn't make any sense. If you would like to. Anyways, let's get into it. I haven't finished anything, or I don't know. You could call it a cross stitch finish, but there's still some beading. But I sorted my whips in a worked on most to worked on least pile, so we're just seeing the new starts whenever they're showing up. But the first one I'm going to talk about is a new start, and that's the one I was most excited about, apparently, because I stitched on the most. I am using Notions. I did mention that before. I think I want to do like a Flosstube extra sort of video to kind of walk you through what I did, because I am using what's she called? I think Stitchy Natty. She made a template for Notion to kind of sort your cross stitch projects, and that's mainly what I use, but I've added on. And the newest addition is kind of a podcast overview where I get the count of what I did since last time, so I don't have to do that prior to every episode, which is really, really neat. And then it gets sorted by most stitches to least stitches, which, I mean, you can change that. But anyways, that's why I'm doing the things we're doing. Anyways, so the project I am super excited about is a new start. I did show it in the haul last time, and I'm talking about the Peaceful Lake House by Dimensions. And it is a kit. And let me just show you what I worked on since last time. As you can see, I made quite the decent start on this project. So in here I have, I have 4,635 stitches. And I'm super happy with this project. And as I mentioned, I did talk about this in my last episode, in my haul section, because I haven't started the project back then. And I talked about changes that I made. But unfortunately, during the editing last time, or I guess during the exporting, all my overlays and stuff didn't make it. So you couldn't really see what I changed. So let's try that again, shall we? So let me just show you the mock-up of the actual kit. So this is a Dimensions kit. I don't know if this is like a gold or whatever. I think it's just a normal standard Dimensions. Doesn't say gold or anything, so I'm assuming it's just the standard one. I love this kit as is, really, because it reminds me so much of my family's lake house that we own, or my mom really. And but I did make some changes to make it look kind of like our lake house. And I'll probably put the mock-up over my face right now. But yeah, the main change I did is the house, where I changed the color and this kind of front house portion. And I kind of left all this because we do have a red boat as well. It looks a bit different, but whatever. And then I changed this whole area. It's probably the biggest change. to have it look like the dock of our neighbor, which is really the view we have the most. And then I made just little changes to this boat, basically just the sail and the color of the boat to make it look like the boat we just finished building and used for the first time this summer. And then I put a little tower on top of that mountain, which really in our case is just a hill that we also see when we're at our boathouse. So obviously the layout is a little not realistic, but that's, I guess, the freedom you have. Oh yeah, and then this area obviously is changed with the terrace we have there, and then I have the canoe pop out there, which is also red. And yeah, I'm super excited. It is big fun stitching on this. So if you've stitched dimensions before, you know there's multiple different types of stitches. Like you have half stitches, full stitches. There's French knots in there. There's back stitching in it, a lot of back stitching. And they also play around a lot with like how many threads you're using to make up these stitches. There's blends as well. So there's lots of fun stuff happening, which I guess intimidates a lot of people, but I find it super fun because it keeps it very interesting to stitch on. And yeah, I love the results. So let's look at my project again. So so far I'm sticking mainly to the areas that kind of are the original chart. So the trees I didn't touch at all, and the roof I didn't touch. And then also I stitched this whole area. I even did some back stitches there. So I think that area is complete, actually. I think of it. Oh no, the French knots I'm missing. There's still some French knots that are coming in. But yeah, and then I got to the canoe, which I stitched because I know I'm not going to run out of color there. But now I'm going to move to the bottom area here where there's like the, what are they called? Lily pads and that red boat and stuff, because that's still original. And I think I'm going to skip this area. And then I'm going to move to kind of the background a bit more. And the reason why I'm stitching it this way is because I am using the original floss that came with the kit. The only thing is I didn't keep it on the thread holders that comes with the kit because I really didn't like it. I just put it on mine, but it is the Dimensions floss, and I haven't added anything yet. But obviously I changed the red house to a blue house. And I've added quite a bit of this kind of tan color. So I'm probably going to run out of the blue and the tan. So I do want to stitch kind of everything that is charted, or that I'm stitching as it was charted. And then I kind of want to see how much thread I have left, because from other people stitching Dimensions, I know they do have quite a bit of leftovers. So I'll see if I just manage. And I feel like for probably the house, I might just swap out the blues for the house entirely by DMC colors, because I've heard Dimension uses DMC colors, but I just for the blues I looked up what the DMC equivalent would be, and it's not a perfect match. So I don't know if the Dimension threads really are DMC, because they do feel quite different as well. They feel like a little bit harder, more cottony, if that makes any sense, because it's both 100% cotton. But I don't know, just in thinking of terms of knitting and yarn, this feels like cotton yarn way more than DMC thread does. Anyways, I know they're both 100% cotton, but it's just my perception, I guess. Anyways, but the colors don't match perfectly. So yeah, if I don't want to run out in the middle of the house of that blue I have in the kit. So if I feel like I'm not going to have enough, then I'll just swap out the blues entirely by DMC colors. And then I won't run into that issue. And yeah, the same with the browns that I'm going to use for the terrace and that dock that I charted anew, because the old dock's more gray. And the dock I have charted now is more like woody, browny, beigey colors. So yes, That's why I'm going to stitch first the things I did not change, and then I'm going to move to the things I did change. But yeah, I'm at 27% on this. Like, at some point I was like, ooh, hold your horses. You're going to be done with this project super quick. And I love it so much. But then I was like, why the hell not? Then I have a finish, because I haven't had since the very beginning any finishes here, because I always just start these big projects, and I guess I'm not stitching crazy amounts of stitches each month. So yeah, I haven't really had any finishes to show, but maybe, I mean, definitely not next time, but maybe this will be a finish one day. Of course it will be a finish one day. I mean, that's the hope. Anyways, but I'm very, very happy with this project, and yeah, I'm going to continue stitching on it. Moving on. The second most stitched on project, the Deadly Aquarium SAL by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. And you're probably sick of seeing this project because many people are showing this these days, and many of them are showing it as a finish. I don't have it as a finish, but I did work on it a lot. Honestly, I don't quite remember. I think... Yeah, no, I do remember. So I was done with this whole area, and I think I've done this too, and I had some of the stingray in, and I think I started on the first shark. I think that's where I was last time. Since then, as you can see, I finished this shark and the 4 fishies that are around it. I finished the barracuda, and I started working on these. I mean, those are like... Yeah, those are the last 4 releases. I think there were 4 since last time I spoke to you. Wow. Yeah, the last episode has been a while. So yeah, there's this pond that came in 2 sections, which I started working on. I guess I'm kind of done with these, at least with the cross stitches. I don't know what these all are. And yeah, I still have some stuff to fill out in the pond itself. And I'm currently working on, as you can tell by the hanging thread, on the crocodile, but I am just color completing as a whole. I'm not really working section by section. I'm just taking a color and run with it and try to finish it off. So I have finished colors on here. I even sorted them away, and then I realized, ooh, I might have backstitch in that color, so I'm not going to do that going forward. But yeah, so this project is at 92.3% complete. So yeah, I don't have that much more to do. Should be, hopefully, fingers crossed, a finish by next time. And as you can see, I decided to omit the stingray up there. I'm not going to stitch that. I don't know. I don't think it needs it, honestly. And I'm excited to get this done, I think. So I'm just not gonna stitch that guy up there, and that's okay. So yay. I don't think, oh yeah, I haven't mentioned that for the last project. That was on 14 count Ada, which is actually Ada Rustico, I think it's called. I didn't take the kit Ada. But anyways, this one is stitched on a 36 count, and I have that also on my awesome overview here. It's Science Skies linen from Lady Ravenga, who is a German fabric dyer. So yay, loving this project. Love the fabric I chose, and I'm stitching it 1/2, by the way, and I like it. I like it for the non-full coverage. I think it would be the coverage wouldn't be quite enough for full coverage, but for some reason this semi-full coverage, I really like it. So yeah. Good. The next project I worked on is a project you've seen before as well, and that is The Fool by the Witchy Stitcher. And it's part of the Nostalgic Tarot series that she's releasing over on her Patreon. And I've made quite some decent progress as well. I think the last time you saw this, You couldn't even tell it was a full. I was just working in this blue section up there, which is actually part of the most visible part of my color conversion. So yeah, I talked about this before as well. But yeah, if you look at the original pattern, which I'm going to pop in here, you can see that it is a rainbow, like it uses all the colors of the rainbow, but it's leaning towards pink. And since I love blue, I decided to rechart some of the colors to be more on the blue side. And yeah, really happy with how it's coming out so far. I'm stitching this on a 40 count linen, Newcastle linen from Zweigart, which I hand dyed myself using Simplico dye. And yeah, really happy. Getting a bit more used to stitching on the 40 count. I don't think it's gonna become my favorite, stitching it 1/2. But I think I'm getting better at it. I am getting better at it. So yay, very happy how this is looking. I do have some hanging threads because yeah, the counting like over multiple stitches, like if you're getting far away from where you stitched before, it just gets too risky. I've made too many mistakes, so I decided to just leave the threads hanging. And yeah, right now I'm working on stitching some of the black, so I know where to continue with the turquoise, so I can work this thread in. And yeah, I don't know, the yellow is kind of just hanging out here until I have, because I think the next thing is somewhere here, and I'm just waiting to see where the other parts are in, so I can count from a little closer. Because yeah, the counting on the 40 count is definitely intense on the dark for sure as well. But yeah, loving where this is headed. So making progress. Did I say I am at 41.5% on this one? So nearly halfway done, and I did 1,383 stitches on this. Oh yeah, I did not say I did 3,458 on the Deadly Aquarium SAL. So yeah, not bad, not bad. Like, those are the 3 projects with over 1,000 stitches progress, and now we're getting down to a little less. The next one though is my sort of halfway finish, if you want to say so. It sits at 97.1%, and those last 3% are just the beads that are missing. And the project I'm talking about is A Partridge in a Pear Tree by Any Bees Folk Art, I believe the design is called. I'm getting confused. There's so many names for her. Yeah, Any Bees Folk Art I have here. Ooh. But yes, I think her actual name is Annie Belcher. And yeah, it's the 12 days of Christmas, and this is day number 1. There's obviously 11 more to go, but the finished project will be like a little stocking, so I have to finish that. But yeah, obviously I'm still waiting on the beads. I just have not made the order yet. I've decided that I want to do the beads. I want to try it. This is like a tiny little project where I can just try the beads, and if they're annoying, it's not that many to do. So I figure I'll actually do the beads, but I haven't ordered them yet. I'm just waiting to collect some more things I want to order to make it worthwhile, the shipping. So yay, very happy with this. I finished for now. And yeah, I'll definitely show you my beading work once I'm done with that. And no immediate plans to start number 2, but I will at some point, probably when we're closer to Christmas. Yes, so let me go back to my thing here. There we go. So the next part, oh yeah, and I did 833 stitches on this. So yeah, I don't remember where I was on this. I think I did the 1 and maybe a little bit of a bird, but yes. maybe I would have put in a before shot for this one because I don't remember. So yes, the next one is my second new start I have, and I'm super excited about this one. And it is another Dimensions pattern. It is not a kit though, because it is out of print. They don't make those kits anymore. And there was only one single one that I could actually find on eBay to buy. But it wasn't a complete kit. Like, it didn't come with the fabric, nor did it come with a complete set of threads. They did not even mention the chart, but I feel like I would have, if I were to actually think about buying that one, I would have asked that before. I think it comes with a thread, with a pattern. That wouldn't make any sense if not. But anyways, I wanted like $137 for it, plus 25 shipping for basically just the pattern and a few threads, which you don't know if they're complete or not. So I decided not to do that because I did find the chart as a digital version, probably not like super legal. Like, I'm sure it's not like from Dimensions, that seller. But again, like, I wasn't willing to pay that much for it, and I really, 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 really wanted this exact chart. So I don't know, judge me if you have to, but I caved and I just purchased the chart. And I'm going to put in the mock-up here. So the chart I'm talking about is the Woodland Santa tree skirt chart. And yeah, I just love it. It's like super traditional, but woodland and not too kitsch Christmas. And yeah, it's supposed to go under your tree where you put the presents on top. I did decide to change the size though. So the kit originally is stitched on 11 count and I'm stitching it on 14 count. And I did go for the blue Ada that I think originally came with a kit as well, or something similar. And this is how far I got. It's not very far, but there's two little birdies in. It's a lot of half stitches so far. And yay, I'm mega excited about this one. So I did put, how many stitches did I put? 504, and this project sits at 2%. So yeah, I barely got it started. I'm not planning on getting this done by Christmas. I'm hoping to get it done by next year Christmas though. So yes. Again, it is Dimensions, so we have a lot of half stitches and full and French knots and backstitch. This has a lot of backstitch. I had to draw the entire backstitch myself because I did purchase this as a PDF pattern, which I then kind of translated into the file format that is supported by Cross Stitch Saga. But the way I'm using, I have to just draw the backstitch myself. Like, I can't read it off the PDF and have it automatically translate, unfortunately. So I had to draw that in my cross stitch software, and it's a lot of backstitch. So I think my plan is to do it as I'm going. But yeah, obviously for these birds, for instance, I'll have to stitch the background first and then I can do the backstitch on it. But yeah, I'm definitely not planning on keeping the backstitch for last because I don't think I'll get it ever done then if I'm just stuck with the backstitching. But anyways, so stitch wise, or I already said, is 500 stitches in here. And yeah, I love the colors. This is actually some haul. I bought some DMC to get this project going because I didn't have all the threads in stash. But yes, very, very old school looking colors. I don't know. It's just it doesn't scream Christmas at me. Yeah, to me at all. It just screams old time illustration book or something, which is what it is basically. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. It's gonna be pretty big. Oh yeah, another thing. So I think the fabric that originally came with the project was like way bigger than this, but the biggest cut I could buy was like a 1 meter 40 cut, and I think I bought it by 1 meter 40. So I have a square of this because obviously I thought it'll be round at the end, but I think it'll be a little bit small to have it like as your standard tree skirt. But we do have, like, usually we just have a small tree that we prop up on a box anyways. So I'll probably just have this as a tablecloth, so to speak, over the box. So we'll kind of just see it, which is actually even nicer because then you don't have the presents on top. You have it kind of behind the presents. So yes, just saying that. So because I'm stitching it on 14 count, it'll be smaller than the 11 count that is the original size of the tree skirt. Yeah, so the next ones I only touched like a day each, and but that makes this podcast nearly a whip parade because I think there's only like 1 or 2 more that I still have in my whip pile that I haven't touched in the past. I guess it's 1.5 months by now. Wow, I did want to film on the first, but alas, I didn't. But anyways, so the next project is an all-time favorite, but have not worked on it as much as I wanted to, but I guess that's because of the fun new starts that I had. And yeah, but this project is my Loon, which unfortunately still has all these parked threads, but it is a beautiful nonetheless. So on here I only did 293 stitches since last time. And I did that all in that area here, just filling it out to get that square, oh, it's not a square, that rectangle filled out, so I can finally move over to Cross Stitch Saga with this project. But yeah, still enjoying it, and yeah, looking forward to the moment when I can start stitching in, working in all these loose threads, because they do make me anxious. I guess that's also maybe a reason why I'm not picking up this project as much, because I really don't like them. But I guess I'll have to only live with them for a while longer. I don't know how many stitches I'm missing. Maybe like 400, 500. And then that area is filled in, I hope. And then I can work them in. So, yay. Not much else to say about this. It's at 32.7% complete. I'm stitching this on a 28 count Lugana from Zweigart. I love my new table here in Notion. Now I'm not guessing at all these informations. I just know because they're all written down here. Now I just need to remember to read it out to you guys, which still might happen that I don't do this. But yeah, it's an easy count, which helps a lot for full coverage. And yeah, I think I might do that for the coming ones. Yeah, I do have some planned. But let me show you my last project that I worked on in the past month, and that is my long dog sampler that I really haven't shown in forever. And yeah, for a time there I was like, should I restart? Am I happy with this? But I think I'm just gonna continue because I don't know, just looking at it, I really like how it looks like. So I think I'm just gonna live with the project how it is right now. So here, let me put it on this cool board, which I've only done for one single project here, but let me do it for one more. I can show it better. So yes, this is Ragnarok by Long Dog Samplers. It is a little hard to show, but in real life, it really shows up nicely. Like, I guess I kind of got myself thinking, because in the one edit that I did show this project, I put it in black and white, which is a trick to see if your color contrast is good enough. And it really showed that it wasn't good enough. But in real life, I like it. And I think even if it's like far away, I mean, you won't recognize every single detail in it, but I don't think you would, even if like there's a crazy contrast on it. And that just makes you want to step closer and actually look at it and find all the details of this massive long dog sampler. So yeah, this is Ragnarok, which is a really cool story. I actually already listened to that audiobook. I was planning on listening to it while I was stitching on this, but yeah, I guess I would have never finished it in the time, even if I were stitching every minute I was listening to it. But yeah, it's some cool, it's a collection of like stories from the Vikings, the Scandinavian histories, legends. It's legends more. Yeah, but really cool. And so I'm stitching this on a, oh, now my phone shut itself off. Oh, I have it. A 36 count linen from Stickstoff, which is a online store, sorry. Looking for the word. It's an online store in Germany. It's not a Zweigart linen. It doesn't have the orange thread there, so I don't know if there's any company. It's just a linen, a 40 count, and I hand dyed this with coffee dye, actually. And yeah, I really like the kind of rustic oaken look. It's coffee dyed, and then also I added some iron to it, which gave it this blackish tint. And the thread I'm using is some really cheapo silk off of, what did I order that? I don't even remember. Might be Alibaba or something, or Etsy, maybe Etsy. No, eBay? I don't know. One of those sites. I really don't think it's a very high quality silk, but I dyed it with indigo to give it this nice jeans blue. But yeah, I don't know. I've watched a few more Flosstubes, and I've watched people show silks, and their silks don't do this. So, I mean, it's nice and soft and all, and it actually stitches up nicely. But yeah, it's kind of, I hope this won't be like a tangled craziness. So far I can get out the threads super easy. I have it braided. I think I'll keep it that way. I can pull it out of the braid, no problem, because it is so soft. But yeah, I really hope I won't regret this 2 years down the line. But yeah, I've decided to just stick with it for now, and I hope I won't regret that decision, because it is a big project, and I'm probably not gonna restart it once I'm halfway done with this. So I really hope my thread, I'm most worried about the thread, really. That's where my worry is. Okay, and that is all the projects I worked on. And I haven't rambled on for an hour already. I'm pretty proud of myself. I was like, get it done. Just talk about the projects. Don't get sidetracked too much. And I think I did. So that's great. That leaves me a little bit of time to show you my haul, and then even show you a little thing I did in the past month as well. But let's look at the haul first. And did I tell you how many stitches I did? I didn't really show you. Hang on, let me tell you first. Sorry, man. Perfect podcaster. So I did 63 stitches on Ragnarok. So this was definitely, yeah, I just picked it up one evening. I think because I was like kind of thinking about it. Do I want to finish it or not? And I just wanted to see. I just wanted to stitch on it again to kind of get a feel for it. And then I decided actually it's not that bad. Like, yeah, I always had in my head that this silk, after seeing other Flosstubers showing off their silks in them looking so nice and stuff, I figured like my silk is kind of crappy, which I still think it's kind of crappy, but it stitches up okay. So I think I just needed that to make that decision, and that's why I only did so little. So the sampler sits at 1.7%, not very far at all, but yes. So that concludes this. Let's get into haul. There's 3 things, I think. I mean, there's been a few threads, DMCs and whatnot for the Santa, the Woodland Santa mainly, that I got, but I don't think I'm going to show off the DMCs because it's kind of hard to kind of keep them separate. And it's a little bit boring too, because all of you know how the DMC look like. I guess people only show off their fancy flosses that they get, which I don't tend to get that many of. But anyways, so I've had a long-awaited incoming pattern book. So this pattern book released back in August. I think technically the official release date was the 12th of August, which is when you were able to purchase it directly from places like Amazon, for instance, but you could do a pre-order, which I did, and I mentioned it. I think I did the pre-order, I don't know, was it April, May? Long ago. And you did get a free chart if you did the pre-order, but honestly I didn't do it just for the free chart. I did it for the book itself. And the book I'm talking about is Cross Stitch in the Forest by Max Pigeon from Pigeon Coop Designs. And let me tell you, this book is so gorgeous. I love this. I really, really do. It feels super nice. It has this like velvety touch finish, which is, oh, I love. And like the patterns in here, I'm not going to show you all the patterns because I mean they're all great. I just want to show you the few that I'm definitely going to stitch. And yeah, like there's like a little, like in the beginning there's a little bit like on the things you need, how to finish, how to do your first crosses, kind of a have to be included. Okay, but yeah, just let me just show you a few of the projects that are in here. Like these 2, I feel like those might be the ones I need to start soon, because they're tiny and they're like perfect Christmas presents, I find, and they're so gorgeous at the same time. I just love them. I love the whole negative space thing. I think that's a thing he does a lot, like having the feature just be negative space. And this reminds me of like, I did some watercolor things for my wedding thank yous actually. And I did them with watercolor and they were very similar to this. I had like a lot of like fading tree lines and stuff. So yeah, that reminds me a lot of those. And yeah, I think they're really cool. So that's something I'll definitely do. Ooh, the next project, right? The next project. This is one I'll have to do. I love this. With the moose. This is just like whatever, real life memory basically. Something I did with my husband. We saw some moose together. So I want to stitch that for our home. And I just love his style. It's like this very, very modern here. Let's just show you 4 at once. I see, like, I don't know. They're so cool. Like, this one is my favorite here. It's just like a little forest with like so many little details. And hang on, let me just show you one more. Oh, there's so many good ones. But we'd be here forever if I show them all. And I'm not meaning to do like a flip through. This one, the bear in the snow. Yeah, I don't know. I love his style. It's like this very minimalistic, modern looking style. Very, very contrasty to like the dimensions things that I also like. But yeah, this is cool. I think this would make like cool presents as well for other people. Because they're not huge projects. So yeah, I can only recommend this. Like, the only unfortunate thing, but I mean that's the thing when you get a book, you have the charts in a book, and I did write him and ask if it's possible to get them digitally, and he does not give them out digitally. So boo 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 hoo. That's unfortunate, but I guess I have to accept that. But I'll I'll still stitch this. It's not gonna keep me from stitching these, but I wish I had them digitally. Not gonna lie. But yes, since they're not that massive, I think it'll be fine to have them. And I might just digitize them myself, just so I don't have to stitch them from the paper. Because in the end, you really would have to make a photocopy, because having it in the book too, because it's like a stiff, what do you call this, spine? Like you have this weird, maybe shouldn't show the chart. Man, why is it always opening to a chart? Here, there. So yeah, I don't know. I find it probably hard to stitch like this, because some of them are also like the chart just oriented like this. So then it's even harder to stitch from it. So I think you would have to make like photocopies of it anyways, to stitch them from the book and also to mark it off, I guess. So anyways, but love it. Very, very excited. Long awaited. I kept checking my Amazon, being like, okay, when's my order showing? But yeah, I've seen at least 2 other Flosstubes that had this book in their like title screen, and I was like, okay, yeah, I guess there were a few people waiting on this. And he actually mentioned it on his Instagram as well, that in Canada, because he is Canadian, he's from Quebec, I think, so French Canadian, even there, they had like super long wait times for the release. I know like 3 weeks after the release, he was like, I'm sorry guys, there's nothing I can do, kind of thing. So yeah, people who ordered it at the release date got it quicker than the ones that had the pre-order, which is kind of, yeah, a shame, really. And I'm sure not what he wanted, but yeah, again, who has influence over companies like Amazon? Let me change the battery real quick. So yeah, that was the long-awaited pattern book. And then yesterday, I don't know why, but I was just browsing through Etsy actually, and I stumbled over, how was it? I think I stumbled over an old favorite of mine. Like I favorited the chart, and that got me looking back through the patterns that I favorited, and then I saw one that I had also in my favorites, and I was like, oh yeah, that's really, really nice. And I kind of looked up the shop again, and then I found another chart in their shop that I really liked, and then she had like a 25% deal, which I don't know, on Etsy it feels like they always have a deal. You always at least get 20% off. Like you just need to put it in your cart and wait 2 days or something, and then they send you stuff for your cart. So I don't know, don't buy Etsy patterns just without any percentage off, because you always get some. Anyways, so they had the 25% off, and I was like, what the heck, they're €5 each, I'll just buy them. And yeah, I think I want to start the one at least very, very soon. I just have to make decisions on what count of fabric. But the Etsy shop, I looked it up just before and now I forgot. I think it's Puck's Closet. I'll put it in if I'm wrong, or maybe I'll just put it in anyway so you know the spelling. And they have nice full coverage charts. So yeah, I do want to start this very, very soon, but let me show you. So the first chart is called Winter. And she did send me a PDF chart, and I wrote to her like right after purchase, because I knew it would only be a PDF chart, if it's possible to get it as a version supported by Cross Stitch Saga. And like virtually 15 minutes later, she was like, yeah, here you go. Thank you. I always, enjoy looking into new software, blah, 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 blah. So I was like super excited that she sent me, for both charts that I purchased, the file for Cross Stitch Saga, so I can put it into Cross Stitch Saga. And look at it. So this is the chart called Winter. And who's surprised that I like this? Actually, I'm surprised that I like this. Not because of the colors, but because there is a lady on it, which is not my usual style. And I'll tell you right away, this probably won't make it up my wall if it ever gets done, because this thing is huge. But I just love the colors, and I think it'll be so much fun to stitch. So it's like a sort of a stained glass thing. So you have like a lot of like what's it called? Like these black lines around objects, but it's not full on stained glass. Like the background, for instance, the light blue is not really stained glass or anything, but like her dress has like basically these stained glass panels things. Her hair is very stained glassy. I don't know. I just like it. I love the colors. There's a ton of blue and grays, which I just love. And then the pop of red in there. I think the face looks really nice. And that's by the way, Cross Stitch Saga. And this is like the realistic mock-up. So if you zoom in, it actually looks like the proper stitched, which I think is cool. And I think the face is done really nicely. So yeah. And the tablet itself actually is also some sort of haul. It's pretty funny because the last August weekend, or was it the 1st September? I think it was the 1st September weekend, was super hot here in Germany. And it was kind of obvious from the weather forecast that it's going to be like the very last hot summer weekend. So we went to the Bootshaus, which was also a long weekend for us because daycare was closed on that Friday. So we just decided to both take the day off and then go to the Bootshaus, and all the other Bootshauses were full. It felt like summer vacation basically, even though it was just a weekend, because it was just this feeling in the air of the last weekend of summer, you know? It was really cool. Like my daughter made a friend in the summer vacation there of a different Bootshaus, and they were there as well, so they could play. I don't know. It was just really, really nice. It was a really nice weekend, very relaxed. I was just sitting on that couch on our terrace and stitching happily away from my stitching phone, and then the phone slipped off the couch through the cracks into the lake, because as I mentioned, the house is right on top of the lake. And so the phone fell into the lake 1.5 meters down to the ground. And it took me a minute to change into my bathing suit because it is, I don't know, there's a bunch of other people there. So I didn't want to just jump in naked. And I had to kind of crawl under the house. And at first I got our stand-up paddleboard to kind of, I don't know, because it's like super mucky there under the house. So as soon as you make a step, there's like lots of floating sand basically, and you can't see anything. So I thought I would kind of like float there on top of the sup, but I realized once I was there and saw what was happening, that was fine to just go there and grab it. Anyway, so I could still see the screen on under the water, so it was still functioning. It was like, wow, okay. So I just grabbed the phone, took it out of the water, and just didn't do anything. I took the I have a case around it to protect it from falls and stuff. So I took that off because there was obviously water in between the case and the phone. But then I just left it out in the sun because it was like 30 something degrees out in the sun. So I thought, well, it would just like get nice and hot and dry out. And I didn't do anything. And then it just kept on working. I was like, wow, okay, that's interesting. I would have never guessed it would still be working anyways. But then I charged it like the day after or something, and then I had the feeling it wouldn't turn back on, and then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it now and let it dry out some more in case there's still some remaining moisture, because I could see some moisture still like in the camera lens, but I was fearful because of trying to turn it back on after charging that I might have ruined it either during charging or during the trying to turn it back on. Anyways, long story short, I was whining at work about that I dropped my phone in the pond. And and then my colleague said, I actually have an old iPad at home if you want to have that. It's like super, super old. You can't upgrade it to the newest iOS thing anymore. And probably not all the apps are supported still, but you're free to have it. I have 2 of them lying around that I don't use. And I was like, yeah, sure, thank you. I'll try it. And so I have a new iPad. It's actually a nice big one that I can use for stitching. And the Cross Stitch Saga app works on the old, I think it's the 14 version still. It's too old though for either Dropbox, the app Dropbox to work, or Google Drive, but I can access the internet, and over the internet I can access Google Drive, so that's fine for file exchange, obviously. And yay, I'm super happy. So that's one acquisition, which I didn't pay anything for. Like, awesome. Yay. But anyways, so I got this charge, and I think this is the one I do want to start at some point. But let me tell you the size, actually. Hang on. Where is this? Here? So yeah, it's 400 by 400 stitches. So that makes it, how many stitches in total? I'm not even going to try to do that in my head. Is 160,000 stitches. So it's a big one. It's going to be the biggest one yet. And I already decided I want to do a 10 stitch, and I want to do it over 1. Or do I want to do it over 2? But then it's getting into very small count. I do want to, mainly I want to rewatch one of Crafting Gaming Jamie. I always mess up her channel name. I want to look up her videos because she's a big full coverage stitcher, and I think she stitches on either 28 or 25 count 10 stitch over 1. I think I want to see what she mainly does, kind of her go-to stitch, and I just want to give it a go. I just want to try and see if that works for me, because I do want to do 10 stitch because this has a lot of stitches, and I know 10 stitch goes quicker. And yeah, so now it's just figuring out what count, and then yeah, either 2 over 1 or 1 over 2, 2 over 2, you know, that stuff. So yeah, I kind of want to just copy her in on that, just because she does so many, so I feel like she probably knows what she's doing. And yeah, see if I like that too. So that's the plan with this. And then now there's just one more chart, which again I also got off the Puck's Closet, I think they're called, and that's this chart. And this one is called Yin and Yang, I think is the name, and it is a yin and yang. Yay. And again, I just love the colors in it. I think the pop of red is really, really cool. It has this Japanese vibe to it. I think it's just awesome. But as you can see, it's round, so the fabric color is gonna be kind of important. And I was thinking about this the other day, I mean, I bought it yesterday, so probably yesterday. And I think, like, I mean, they show it as on black, but I don't think I want to stitch, because this is pretty big as well. Let me see, how big is this one? 337 by 337. But since it's round, it's not quite the square total stitches. What's the total? Oh, hang on, that's the wrong menu. What's the total stitch count? The total stitch count is actually under 100,000. It's 89,182 stitches in this one. But still, I don't think I want to stitch that on black. But I was thinking like some gray fabric, some anthracite, like a darker gray, but still light enough for it not to be a pain to stitch on. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna make any decisions on that super soon. I guess I could also do it on a cream similar to that background, and then maybe even not do the background there, because that's the one thing, I don't know, I'm not too keen on how it's charted. I don't know, I guess you can't really tell. I don't know, in real life it looks a little bit digitized, I guess. I don't know, because it's basically one color. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not too happy with how the background is charted there. So maybe if I'll just choose a fabric that size and maybe have it dyed interestingly, I could just leave that as is, and then, I don't know, either do like a back stitch or see how I close that circle, that it doesn't look odd. I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna start this like super soon, but I do love this, I think. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's the 2 new charts that I got. And again, I am getting the stuff together for winter. Yeah, I hope to start that maybe for the next, or not for the next podcast, but you might see a new start in the next podcast. And yeah, and that's all I have to show you guys. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you are still here, what emoji do we want? We want a tree for the forest, the cross stitch in the forest. So drop me a tree emoji if you made it till the end. That's always fun to see. And other than that, if you have any questions, drop them below. I'm happy to answer. I guess I'm not the quickest in replying, but I try to get through all my comments anyways, and eventually I'll get to them. It's not that many yet, so it's easy to do. I just need to be in the right headspace. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you, I guess, in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.